So the good news is that my speech is only about 6 minutes long, so you will not starve. Because the one thing that we know here in Davos, it is always hard to find food. Nonetheless, it is a pleasure to be here with you today at this institutional investor gathering. Thank you to Saigar and the Blockchain Founders Capital team for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share with you what we have been building in Bermuda. And thank you also for extending kind and wonderful courtesies to my entire team and also my wife, who is joining me on this trip. This is my first time back in Davos since 2019, when we had just begun our journey in digital assets. It was here in 2018 that Bermuda, in a story that was chronicled by Burt, invited leaders from the then crypto industry, I say crypto because we're not allowed to say that word anymore, it's digital finance, but we'll get to that, to join us in Bermuda as we were determined to ensure that blockchain innovation could happen on our island. Guess what? In true Davos fashion, they answered the call. And over the next 4 months, with whiteboarding sessions and working with industry, we delivered one of the world's first comprehensive digital asset regulatory frameworks with the passage of the Digital Asset Business Act 2018, and we passed that in Parliament in May of 2018. So if you take Davos, January 2018 to May, that is how fast we were able to put together legislation and bring it to market. This framework was a result of our Bermuda Triangle approach to innovation. Yes, you heard that, Bermuda Triangle, or as you would say in Germany, Bermuda Dreieck. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Hopefully, all right. The approach to innovation was fosters a collaboration between government policymakers, financial services regulators, and industry feedback, as building legislation that no one in industry wants or needs is without question a recipe for failure. So the industry must inform what the regulation looks like. Through this approach, we're able to quickly create a framework that defined digital assets as their own asset class, rather than trying to regulate each type of digital asset. And we decided to regulate digital asset businesses and their activities. Today, Bermuda is home to some of the largest and most influential digital finance companies in the world, including Coinbase, Circle, Kraken, and Anchorage, just to name a few. We've refined our regulatory framework to adapt to the ever-evolving digital asset landscape, with adding clarity for derivatives, insurance, yield-bearing stablecoins, lending, and staking, all part of our regulation for quite some time. Our regulator, the Bermuda Monetary Authority, is working across the globe to educate and collaborate with other digital asset-friendly regulators to establish bridges and future equivalencies. Notably, the BMA has an MOU with Abu Dhabi Global Markets and the Financial Services Regulatory Authority in the UAE, and are now working closely with the U.S. regulatory agencies to align with the Genius Act implementation and upcoming, hopefully, U.S. regulatory frameworks. This regulatory leadership has fostered responsible innovation in Bermuda and has now led to the licensing of over 60 digital asset businesses and insurers. So the question you might ask is, why should you care? And that is because Bermuda is now turning our attention to digital asset investment managers and tokenized investment funds. We've seen many funds go to other jurisdictions in an effort to avoid regulation. We believe that in order for tokenized funds and other digital investment products to be leveraged as collateral and become mobile across other institutional financial products, then there has to be an equal level of compliance and regulation. In Bermuda, we have the right legal structures, the best regulatory frameworks, and a long-standing history in international financial services that can allow you to bring your tokenized funds and digital investment products to market. You can set up a bankruptcy remote segregated account company, acquire an investment business and digital asset business license, and issue any digital native product you can imagine. Our regulator is actively pursuing adding further clarity to their tokenization frameworks and has even completed, I heard someone talking about DeFi regulation earlier and how it is not that much advanced. Well, here's what we've done in Bermuda already. We've completed our first embedded DeFi embedded supervision pilot, embedding themselves directly into DeFi protocols to identify their balance role in decentralized finance. And so that is really the future of digital finance, where the regulator is embedded inside of DeFi protocols to make sure that things can be more efficient by making sure all the compliance is handled on-chain. Bermuda is ready to work with you. We've been regulating digital assets for 8 years now, and we continue to update and streamline our legislation to ensure that it is not just taking what is done in the fiat world and making it to the digital finance world, but making sure that we make things more efficient in the digital finance world to reduce the regulatory compliance burden which plagues so many companies. More than 50 years ago, our approach to responsible innovation enabled the establishment of our now $2 trillion insurance and reinsurance market. And we're applying this same approach to digital asset businesses and investments to diversify our economy for the next 50 years. I invite you all to come to Bermuda and see it for yourselves. We'll be hosting the Bermuda Digital Finance Forum this May with our friends Penrose Partners and our friends at Salt Skybridge. That was Anthony Scaramucci, who was here earlier today, who brought his conference there last year. It was an amazing success, where we did the world's first fully compliant nationwide USCC airdrop, and we're looking forward to do more things. Yesterday, we had a big announcement with Coinbase and Circle, where we are going to be the first country to bring all the economy on chain, and the work of which we're continuing to do, and we're looking forward to continuing to press this advantage. So for those of you, we understand this institutional investors, the reality is, if your company that you are investing in can have the wherewithal to get a digital asset business license from the Bermuda Monetary Authority, which is regarded as one of the gold standards of regulators on the planet, then there is, without question, that is almost a stamp of approval that will ease the raising of further rounds of money. That is the reality, because Bermuda's regulatory standard is the gold standard. It's recognized in the United States, it's recognized in the United Kingdom, it's recognized in the European Union, it's recognized in Asia, and it is something that we are proud of building and the work of which we continue to do. So I thank you for your attention. I hope that was informative, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy the rest of your time at Davos. I'll ask everyone for the Bermuda team to please put up their hand. If you have any questions, please feel free to let any one of us know. Thank you, and have a nice day.